You're listening to Underestimated, the podcast that helps overwhelmed small business owners turn their size into their unfair advantage so they can grow without burning out. Now here's your host, Shawna.
It is super cool when a referral just kind of lands in your lap. I just finished up a year-long engagement with an association that was the perfect fit for me. And I got it through a referral from a dear speaker friend of mine who spoke for them last year and knew that I would be the perfect fit for what their goals were for this year. And the good thing about that is this is from a speaker friend who's part of a referral pod that I belong to. And so the three of us refer business back and forth, and we all speak on different topics. And it's perfect. We're all in about the same fee range, have about the same experience. And so if a client needs somebody who can speak on resilience, I know exactly who to refer them to. Or if they need somebody on leadership, I know exactly who to refer them to, and vice versa, because I've engineered it. But I have to say, it is super cool when a referral just falls in your lap. I wish that that just happened more. Thank you, universe. But let's talk about why people don't refer you, even if they love you as a customer of yours. There are a few different reasons why people don't refer you. If you know they like you, you know they're happy with you, they just don't refer you. Number one, you are not top of mind, and they're not going to proactively refer you. Very rarely does that happen. They will refer you if somebody asks them for a service or product that you provide and they're happy with you, they'll absolutely refer you. But you're not top of mind. That's the first reason why. The second reason is that maybe they don't know exactly what type of customer you want if it's not exactly like them. So if I am a home buyer and I worked with a realtor to buy a home, and somebody's looking to sell a home in a completely different part of town, and it's a different type of home, whatever, I may be hesitant to refer them to my realtor because, I'm not quite clear on whether that's a good fit or not. So it could just be that they are not quite clear on the types of customers that you want more of. And the third reason is maybe they don't really think about you in a referral capacity because you've never really asked them. And the fourth one is that maybe they just don't know what to say. It's not an easy referral for them to make if they maybe see somebody posting on LinkedIn and they're like, it's just a combination of one or more of those four things. So how can we engineer it so that you stay top of mind? They know exactly who your exact right customers are, and they know what to say, and they know that you want referrals. Let's talk about the three things that you have to do first to engineer this. The first one is you have to have a phrase that kind of sticks in their head that's memorable for them. Shawna helps X do Y. So for my realtor friend, it would be, let's say, Melissa helps home buyers and sellers anywhere in the Twin Cities to blank. And I would fill that in with her words because she has given those words to me as a follow-up or when we were in person and she asked or whatnot. So it wouldn't just be like, you should talk to my friend Melissa. She's a realtor. It's, oh my gosh, I know exactly who you should talk to. My friend Melissa works in the northern suburbs, and she specifically works with people who buy and sell houses in the $1+ million range, let's say. Totally making that up. I don't even know who Melissa is, just came to me. So make sure that they know exactly who your exact right customer is and how or who you help blank to do blank. And number two, make sure that you ask them at the exact right moment. So at the peak of their happiness with you that time around. If they're a first-time customer, when the peak of their happiness is when, if you have brick and mortar and they are so profusely grateful for whatever you just did for them, that's the moment to ask. Or if they send in a thank you or they send in a review or something like that, that's the time to ask. Anytime when okay, this is the peak of their happiness with me right now for this round of purchase, that's when you do your ask. And then the third thing, remove the friction. Make sure it is ridiculously easy. Tell them how to refer you, where to refer you. Give them a link, give them a template, give them exactly what they need. Give them a card, maybe a physical business card, so that they have something with them. I know that's a little old school to give people a couple different business cards, one for them and one for a friend, but hey, it still works, and it's pennies to do that. So if you are physically with them, you can give them that, or maybe something a little bit more like a postcard that explains exactly more of who you're looking for, more than you can fit on a business card. Okay, let's talk about 5 easy referral strategies that actually work. Number one is the easiest, the direct ask. I just spoke about it when they're at the peak of their happiness with you. Maybe they're right in front of you, or maybe you have them on a Zoom call or on the phone, or you were just in their home providing a service, whatever. So the direct ask. And so many of us fail to do this. I am guilty of this myself. I just had a speaking engagement last week that I was so grateful for the type of audience it was. It was my perfect type of audience, and the client was amazing. And I left thanking her profusely. And I went to the airport, got on the plane, and I didn't ask her. So always make it a part of your process that you ask before they leave you, because she was at the peak of her happiness with me the moment I walked off the stage. And so make that part of your routine to just ask. Secondly, get comfortable with the phrase, who do you know who? This is a great way to specifically ask for your exact right customer and introductions to them. So if you are having coffee with somebody or you're reconnecting with an old college friend, hey, who do you know who books speakers for associations that serve small businesses? That would be my ask. So what is yours? Who do you know who? And get used to that and get comfortable and use it until it just falls right off your tongue. The next one is, for every referral that you get, start a loop of thanking that person who did the referral. Send them a little something, whether that's a handwritten note in the mail, or the bare minimum, at least pick up the phone or leave them a voice note or something of that nature, and just let them know, I would love more of the same. I'm always keeping you in mind. In fact, I just thought of this client for you. And that brings me to my next one, exchanging referrals. So I talked at the beginning of this episode how I have a little pod where we refer each other. That doesn't mean that those are the only people that I refer. I refer an appropriate speaker to the appropriate client at the appropriate time for the appropriate topic. But that pod stays top of mind for me, because every time that we talk, we are saying, hey, who do you know who, or who can we refer each other to that maybe we've worked with in the past couple months. So we keep bringing it up, and we have regular check-in calls to hold each other accountable, but also to stay top of mind with each other. So that referral pod, that referral network that you create, make sure and cultivate that. It can be people who are doing exactly what you do, like speakers. I also have speakers that I network with that literally are marketing speakers, so that if they have a date that they can't do a particular gig, they will reach out to me, and vice versa, because I know we're in a similar fee range. I also have speakers who are marketing speakers that speak at a lower fee. So if it's a client that maybe has less of a budget and I can't really work with them to meet their budget, I have people I can refer them to. So that just kind of, that engine feeds itself when you feed into it. And lastly, you can easily do this by putting it in your CRM to, at appropriate intervals, follow up with clients. For me, I follow up with clients after a speaking engagement to thank them and ask them, can I be of service and help you, introduce you to other speakers now that I know your audience so well? And if you want to let me know what you're looking for next year's conference, I'm happy to make introductions or recommendations. I always do that because I want to help my client, and I would love to connect them with people that I know and like and trust. And if you don't use a CRM, I was guilty of that for a million years, ADHD, hello, then just put a reminder on your phone. I talk to Siri all the time. She might answer me because I just said her name, and just say, hey, remind me to get milk, or remind me to follow up with Julie about this or whatever. But set reminders for yourself. However, it doesn't have to be a huge, expensive CRM. Do it in whatever way is comfortable for you, but set those intervals so that you don't forget and you just get kind of in this cadence. Let's talk about 4 things not to do. The first one is offering cash incentives or other incentives to the wrong group of people. Like if you don't know them well enough, or even if you do, if it just feels ishy, like your doctor. Hey, if you know anybody who needs surgery, I'm giving you $50 on an Amazon card. Yeah, that just doesn't quite feel right. So make sure it feels appropriate. If you're not sure, ask your favorite customer, what would this be like? And ask them, in fact, how do you recommend that I get more clients? In fact, my best friend was just speaking to a speaker colleague of hers. She is not a speaker, she's a meeting planner. And the colleague called her up and said, hey, I would just love to know, you are so wise. How can I get more speaking engagements with amazing planners like you? And my best friend introduced this speaker to me. So I am going to mentor her in the next couple weeks. So I'm not a client, but I can certainly be helpful to her. The second thing not to do is to ask too early in the relationship before the sale has closed, or you're not quite sure if they are happy with what you did. So wait until you know it's the appropriate time. If it's too early, that also can can give them the ick. The third thing not to do is ask once and assume that that's enough. Again, with this cadence, ask them at appropriate intervals. That means, like, if your sales cycle is a year, please don't ask them every month. That gets very annoying, but maybe quarterly, or have a reason to reach out to them. Be a giver before asking for something in return. One of the things that I've seen, if you are selling business to business, give them a nice recommendation on LinkedIn or give them a shout out on LinkedIn. And if and when they say thanks, hey, let's catch up over coffee, blah, blah, blah. But just be sure that you ask more than one time and then never, one time and then never ask again. That's unfortunate. And the last thing not to do is to forget to thank your referrers and forgetting to make a big deal out of how much you appreciate it and really showing them that appreciation, again, with a small token, a small gift, or even a handwritten thank you note at the bare minimum, a voice note if you text. As a small business, picking up the phone and calling your customers is something that you can do. Big, huge retailers, they don't have the bandwidth to do that, but you do. You, as a small business, you have not only the bandwidth, I know you're busy, but you have the bandwidth somewhere in your day to make one call or even 3 calls a week, but set something realistic for yourself and pick up the phone and call those clients, because you have the edge of being small here. They're going to know who you are. You're continuing to deepen that relationship, and especially if you're calling them with a tip or a trick or just a simple thank you, and then make the ask. So your challenge for this week is to pick 3 of your recent favorite customers or 3 of your all-time favorite customers. Maybe you've lost track with them or whatnot, but reach out to them and try this, because it's going to be easiest on your favorite customers to ask them for referrals because they love you and they remember you because they were your favorite. Hopefully you were one of theirs. And in closing, I'll just say the best time to engineer a referral system was when you first started your business, and the next best time to engineer that is right now. So go be productive and engineer your referral system, and we will see you on the next episode of Underestimated. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to Underestimated, hosted by Shawna Suko. To connect with Shawna, go to thebuyerinsider.com.